thank you for joining me today. My name's Laura Mackie. I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and today I thought I'd share with you how I coloured the Santa from the Don't Stop Believing stamp set, which comes on Tuesday the 4th of August. I just love this cute little Santa. He's proper little vintage, cute guy, and yeah, I'm taking part in a blog hop today, so I thought I'd do a quick video just showing you how I've coloured it in and sort of smudged out the edges a little bit, because he's not a full, he's just his head and shoulder kind of Santa. So yeah, all the details and the card measurements for the card are on my blog, which you'll find the details and the link to my blog post in the description box, which you can just find at the below the video. So yeah, let me show you how I made my card. Right, so I've got, I've changed it around this time because I thought I'd go with a grey granite card base. So I've got a C6 grey granite card base. Forgetting my words here. I almost need like a auto script maybe. These layers, again, all the measurements, I'm not even going to give them down to you, so you're scrapping for a piece of paper right now to jot them down. Just go over to my blog post and they'll be all there for you. So I just have it so there's a little neat border, and then again when it sticks down there's the border of the cardstock all the way around. I'm just going to pop those to one side for now. I've also got a scrap of grey granite cardstock, and I've got a scrap of Whisper White. The grey granite is for my heat emboss greeting, and I will show you what I use the scrap of Whisper White for when I'm colouring. So I've pre-mounted the Santa on a clear block, and I'm just going to ink him up in Memento ink. I'm just covering, making sure that's got good coverage. Popping the lid back on so I'm safe. I've got a little bit of gritty on my workspace because I've been heat embossing. I'm just going to I stamped him kind of central-ish. Give that a good push down and up. And there he is, my little ho-ho-ho. So I'm using Stampin' Blends to colour in the Santa today, and I'm using Colour Lifter, Cherry Cobbler in light and dark, and Grey Granite in light and dark, and then for his face I'm using the bronze. No, sorry, I'm lying, it's not bronze, it's ivory. So to begin, I'm going to colour in his face. Now, I'm usually a small pointed girl, but for the face, for some reason, I've coloured in this face now quite a few times, but I quite like now the brush end for some reason. And I just sort of giving just really careful just to go around his eye. If you feel more confident, you can use the flat end. I'm normally a small end girl. I don't know why I've kind of taken to using the fat end for that. And that's the only piece for his face that uses the ivory. I kind of added, I'm just going to bring the card back in again just so you can see, I kind of added like a kind of a vintagey look to this. I'm going to share with you how I created that. It's using the light grey granite and again the brush tip end. If you've watched any of my videos before, I'm normally a fine tip girl, but today I'm a brush tip girl. So I'm just adding, I think because it just lays down in one swoop, it lays down all the colour I want. And then I'm going to go in with the Colour Lifter and just in circular motions going on top of that line where I've laid down the grey granite ink. And it's what the Colour Lifter does. It draws a bit of the ink and it kind of gives you a blurred, softens the colour up. The only thing with doing this, it does use your Colour Lifter. I have, I think, 3 Colour Lifters now because I seem to do this quite a bit. So you're really applying, saturating a lot of ink on that grey granite pen. And again, doing the same there just to take the harshness off. And the same again on his cuff. Just really saturating that colour lifter. I'm going to leave it there. If I think in a minute, oh actually I'm going to go in and add a little bit more, I will do that, but I'm just going to let that ink settle. I added onto his beard grey granite again. I just didn't want to leave his beard completely plain, so I just sort of just flecking, following the marks from the stamp, from the image, just doing swoops just to lay down some colour. So it's not, I didn't want him to be completely white. And then again, colour lifter, just to draw a bit of that ink off. And just soften up any lines so it's quite going all over, just to soften that up. Isn't he just cute, this Santa? I don't think I've ever had a Santa stamp like this. I don't even think I've actually even had a Santa stamp before, so I was quite excited when I saw this. It was first on my pre-order. I'm just going to go back in now on the hat. Just as there seems to be a little line appearing there, so I'm just going to draw a bit more of that ink off, and then I'm going to leave it. For his glove, I've done one here with a black glove, and I've done this one here, he's got a white glove. I'm not sure which I prefer, but this one I'm going to do in a white glove. And again, I just added just some grey granite onto his sort of crease around his knuckles and on those lines. And you guessed it again, I'm just going to go in with the colour lifter, just because it just takes any harsh lines away, and it just softens up the ink. So it just adds a little bit of a hint of the colour, but it just softens up them lines. Now we're going to colour in his hat and his shoulders and his sleeve. Going in with the dark cherry cobbler, just following the lines of the stamp, and going across the top of his hat. I'm going to lay a bit of dark down on his shoulder and round his hand. And then I'm going to go back in now with the light cherry cobbler and colour in the rest. So I'm going to go over the top of the dark now, little circular motions, just to blend those two colours together. And then work into the edge of the image. There, and the same again. So colour in all the image and then just over the top of the dark to blend those two colours in together. Same again for his sleeve. You can also go in and add, if you want to add any sort of darker tones, you can. Same again, so over the top of the dark, start off with circular motions and then just colouring in. And then I'm going to go around his beard and up to the other shoulder, and I'm using dark cherry cobbler again. Just carefully going round his beard. I kind of think the red pit appears in there, so I'm going in there. Round his beard. Coming down his shoulder. Just going to add a little bit more dark in there, and then I'm going to go back in again now with the light. So starting on the darker area, circular motions, just to blend those two inks in. I'm going to do is just take the colour in, just so I'm happy with where I want the image to finish, really. It's kind of hard how far you go down with it. I'm going to there. I'm just going to soften these lines up just a little bit. And then I'm going to go in again with the colour lifter, and this is where my scrap comes in. It's just to clean off my colour lifter at the end, because it will leave a little pink tip. So I'm going to go on that line, and I'm just going to do little circular motions all the way along. You can see where how I kill my colour lifters. It's worth it though. It just softens up them edges, and especially on a image like this, it kind of needs that softening. So just working on the very end where you finish your colouring. And I kind of do a mix of strokes and circular motions. And it kind of blurs it out. Just takes that harsh finished line away, which I didn't like it when I left that harsh line. It just looked a bit severe for my liking. I think you get the idea. So I'm going to leave it there, because I can always come in and do a bit more in a minute. So I'm going to just leave that there just for now, and I'm going to do my greeting. My greeting I have heat embossed in silver embossing powder. So I'm just going to use my embossing buddy there, just along the bottom, just to take the static out. Using my Versamark ink and the Don't Stop Believin greeting, which I'm going to stamp along near the bottom there. Cover my ink pad up. I'm always so cautious to cover my ink pad up, because I'm always worried at what little accidents could happen if I don't cover it. So I'm just covering that in the silver embossing powder. And I'm just going to heat set that. And now I've heat set my greeting. I'm just going to trim that up. So for the greeting on here, I used the tag punch, and I want to fit it so it fits in that middle groove there. So it wants to just be under 2 centimeters. Whoops! I'm just going to trim this up, just so it then measures just under the 2 centimeters. I'm also going to just trim a little bit off that end, because I don't want it to be that long. And then it will neatly just slot into there. So we got a nice little neat end. I just think I'm going to just take a fraction off that piece. And then I'm going to just use a hole punch just to punch a hole in that end. So that is, whoops daisy, that's my greeting ready. Just to finish the layer off here, I'm happy, and can you see with how that's all blurred off? That kind of takes that harsh line away. So now I'm going to just add, if one can find my sponge. Oh my word. Here we go, here it is. So I just inked around the edges of the cardstock in grey granite ink. Just going around, little circular motions. Start on a piece of scrap paper, or I'm using a glass cutting mat, so I just go straight on the glass and straight onto my project. So I'm just going all the way around, just neatly, just giving a little grey granite, vintagey kind of look edge. If you notice on this one I did turn the corner, and I'm going to do the same again. But just so it doesn't, so it wants to be this corner, I'm going to flick over and I'm just going to ink that corner with the grey granite. Really dark, so lots of ink there. And then just to start that off, just to curl that corner, just use my bone folder and then got it in my finger and thumb and just started to roll. There we go. So now I'm going to bring in my card layers. So that is going to stick down. I'm using Tombow because it gives me my little bit of wiggle room. Probably a little bit too much Tombow there. That's always the way though when you're doing a video. You either get no glue or way too much glue. There. So that's that bit. Just adjusting my rolled corner there. I'm going to stick this down again flat just because my sentiment is going to be raised on dimensionals. And I don't know if this card will be posted or hand delivered, but I'm just conscious that I don't want to make it too fat. That it has to go on a large stamp if it doesn't need to. I'm just going to add 3 dimensionals. 1, 2, 3. I've got some linen thread here, which I'm going to pre-thread in. I'm going to peel the backs off my dimensionals and stick my greeting down. So I think my greeting is going to go there somewhere. I'm going to have to just tilt it just so I can see it straight. And then I'm going to tie my bow. This linen thread is pretty curly. So I'm just going to tie that into our bow. And then trim the tails on my ribbon. Stuff is really curly. I kind of like it though, because it's kind of a bit crazy, but it's also a little bit tricky to bow. And there you have it. Voila! Christmas cards. Christmas cards in just July, because we're 1st of August tomorrow. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed watching my video, and I hope you have a go at creating the Ho 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 Christmas card. And any details, like I said, just click on the description box below. Thank you so much for coming by. See you soon. Bye-bye.